Arceus Giratina was already one of the best decks in standard format, so some people wondered how it would be able to do in the new Obsidian Flames metagame, with Charizard EX being public enemy number 1. And what's really epic about Giratina right now is it can naturally fit in a grass type attacker that can hit the Charizard for weakness. So in this case, we're playing Serperior VSTAR, a formerly totally useless card. What I love about it is not only hits Charizard for weakness and one-shots it, but it's a lot more versatile of an attacker because we can move those energies off the Serperior and onto a Giratina or something else to move into a different attacker later in the game. The list is what Ricardo Toddy used to win a big Obsidian Flames Limitless online tournament. It's a very familiar Giratina list, what we've really come to know and love with the deck. Heavy on hand disruption, boss's orders. Like any deck that plays Judge, Path to the Peak, and Iono is going to be a good deck because the big three decks right now, Giratina, PAL, and Charizard, like the three most popular decks online, all do not like to face that combo of cards. So I really like this deck right now. I feel like it has a very high floor but also a very high ceiling. It's very consistent and very powerful. I had three pretty good games in today's video, so please enjoy the battles. So let's see how this Arceus deck goes where we take it on the ladder. This is my first game with the deck, so this could go either very well or very bad. Luckily Arceus is a relatively lower skill deck, so not a huge learning curve. It is pretty cool that Serperior is finally seeing some play, but I think that's just because grass weakness is super relevant right now. You could definitely make the argument for Leafeon being a alternate grass attacker over the Serperior, but I think Serperior is slightly better because you can actually control the energy flow in play, and also it attacks with a grass and a double colorless energy, so you can Raihan onto it. It's just a lot easier to power up, where like Leafeon VSTAR is grass colorless, so it's a bit tougher. It doesn't have the super versatile VSTAR power like Leafeon, but I think the other things are a lot better. So we do mulligan, which is going to happen in a deck like this where we don't play too many basics. A pretty quality opening hand. We have an energy attachment on Arceus, got Path to the Peak, Serperior, and Spiritomb. So we have lots of options. We have an Iono. So Manaphy doesn't really tell us what we're facing. Always doing this, always doing this. Is it ever incorrect to drop Serperior? Against Lost Box, Serperior is good. Against... yeah, I just think we do this and pass. Don't want to pass to the Peak yet, so we can do our Star Breath next turn. But yeah, okay, it is PAL, it looks like. Or it could be Charizard, I guess. It's Charizard, okay. I kind of got thrown off because I saw Water type and I was like, oh, PAL, but no, it's a Manaphy. It can be in anything. So we're going to be able to show off this Serperior package in this first game. So at least hopefully we are able to. This deck has a lot going for it in the Charizard match with the Path to the Peak and hand disruption. Okay. I think I'm still going Iono. It's definitely tempting to play Path to the Peak because I don't necessarily need to Star Birth this turn, but I'm still going to Iono. We're currently not there yet. I will bench Bibarel. I'll put Choice Belts. Let's see, let's Nest Ball first. Okay. I'm going to grab the Nest Stash, I think. Then I can see more total cards. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get Skwovet on the board. Where does this Choice Belt matter the most? I don't think it matters a whole lot. We also get to throw it to the bottom with Nest Stash and recycle it later, so I kind of want to do that, I think. So let's just Nest Stash. Hopefully we can find an Arceus. Oh, let's go. That's our one card with an Arceus VSTAR. So now we have a ton of things where we can do this turn. We don't necessarily even need to Star Birth. I still think it's probably the smart thing to do. I want to get Path to the Peak. Oh yeah, the Serperior's in deck, which is awesome. I'm going to get Path to the Peak for sure. And then I'm also going to grab Judge. Just so I have max hand disruption for next turn. One thing I like in this list is a Sharon's Care. I think that card's is pretty broken right now. So it doesn't really do a whole lot to get another Arceus down. Nor does I guess Giratina is a pretty good attacker to KO the Arceus next turn, so let's just thin that Giratina out of the deck. And then I can go Grass on Serperior and then Grass and Psychic on Giratina. So yeah, there definitely is the argument to holding Star Birth, but I still think this play is fine, especially with Jet Energy in the list. All we are away from attacking is just a Jet and a Tina VSTAR from attacking. Killing Manaphy doesn't necessarily mean too much. Alright, another Arceus VSTAR is pretty irrelevant, but we can see quite a few cards. We can Judge, and we can Nest Dash, and Industrious and Scissors. And our opponent's going to have a pretty solid turn to be able to attack. They're going to need to be able to bounce the Stadium and then find Rare Candy Charizard. There's the Arceus VSTAR, so that's already a great start for them. And an Iono. I don't really mind that a whole lot because we're just going to play Judge anyway. Alright, that's a lot of good cards. We have Boss's Orders, so we could chase one of these Charmanders or this Radiant Charizard. Okay, they attach the Double Turbo to the active. But do they have any sort of options here? They just pass. This is very interesting for us. There is Raihan. Because I can just take the guaranteed play here and just Boss Orders and KO like a Pidgey, a Charmander, Radiant Charizard. Or I could get greedy. That's not really that greedy. I just need to find energy off this Nest Dash plus Bibarel. And then if I do that, I'm like super far ahead. But also, then also I'm like sort of in a weird spot because I have to lost some of my energies like that. I think I'm just going to take the safe play here. I'm going to go ahead and KO the Pidgeot just so my opponent has... So my opponent is not just totally exploding on his next turn like a Starbirth for a Pidgeot, and then also for like getting the Charizards going. There is definitely an argument to gusting up that guy, but I think Pidgeot will, considering how slow they've set up, I'd rather hurt their game plan even more. I probably should put that on the Serperior. I just want to be able to pivot next turn and still have an energy in play, and then we can just dump all these. Get all these in play. So I will then do this. So we have basically all our energies thinned out. We can still retreat and Lost Impact away a Double Turbo. You don't usually see V-Guard in these Arceus Charizard decks, so the Lost Impact will be able to one-shot them. And they only have 3 cards in their hand. We know they don't have a bump to Path to the Peak. They're going to have to top deck that or draw it off a supporter card. And they're not going to have Quick Search to help them out either, at least for this turn. We have another Boss Orders to chase something down next turn. We even can Lost Impact. We can Lost Impact if they bring up Arceus. We can Gust a Charizard and potentially find the Serperior VSTAR to take a knockout. So we're definitely in a very commanding position this game. That's why I love Arceus Path decks right now, because Charizard is everywhere and Chin Pao is everywhere, and those decks hate Hand Disruption plus Path to the Peak. And this is what this Arceus deck does extremely well, and also hits relevant weaknesses and can one-shot V-Star. So yeah, my opponent just decides to concede because they really could not set up through that early Path to the Peak pressure. Alright, let's get into a second game since that first one was a bit shorter. Let's see if we can get a nice full-on game in here, or at least one where it's a bit more back and forth than that last one, because that early Path to the Peak was just simply too much for our opponents. We'll be going second, it looks like this time. So never a good thing for an Arceus deck to be going second. But we still can potentially Trinity Charge and do some things this turn. So our opponent is going first. I would like to... Having a Double Turbo in this hand would make me feel a lot better about it. We're against Chin Pao. Yikes, so this Arceus could definitely be under threat next turn. I have Ultra Ball to potentially find... So they're going to... I feel like you should probably Shivery Chill before you manually attach, at least to make me think that you have one less energy in hand. I don't think it matters that much. So actually my Arceus really is not under pressure because of how bad their hand is. Let's play a Nest Ball. Let's see, I think establishing Bidoof is probably correct. If we had a Double Turbo, I'd definitely grab Giratina, but yeah, we're just gonna grab Bidoof for now. Yeah, there's plenty of Bibarels in deck, right? Yeah, we have the Bibarels. Then I'll just drop that. I'll chuck a Grass on the active, and then I'll just pass. Normally, I would have, if my opponent actually sets up, I'd probably have Nest Balled for another Arceus. And then at least, if our Arceus got knocked out next turn, we'd be able to find, we get Ultra Ball and Starbirth for Raihan. We still would not be in a very solid position. We are certainly fortunate that our opponent did not have the strongest first turn. So this looks like it's probably... I suppose it still could be a Bax Caliber build. Usually when you see Lost City, it's not though. So it looks like it's going to be the Palkia Bibarel, like more Water Toolbox style deck, which usually is only using Chin Pao like once or twice per game, instead of having it as its main attacker like the Chin Pao Bax Caliber build. So I'm definitely more happy to be facing this build because, yeah, not being able to use Chin PAL like 3 times to blow up 3 V-Stars is pretty good for us. So Choice Belt doesn't really affect our math at all. So I'm going to play an Ultra Ball. I'll throw out Choice Belt. And I throw out the other Ultra Ball. And then I can grab Arceus VSTAR. I could have held the Ultra Ball and just dumped my entire hand and then grab a barrel. But what I want to do here is I'm going to Starbirth, and I'll go ahead and grab the double turbo energy and a Judge. Because I know my opponent is already struggling over there. I'm not really, especially since we're dropping Path to the Peak, I don't really feel too scared if I'm judging my opponent this turn. And hopefully on the other side of this Judge, we'll find some sort of ball search card or a Giratina to load up. I just want to make things as hard for my opponent as possible. We didn't find a Giratina, but we did find an Arceus. Our hand is looking a bit rough, so we're kind of praying that this Path to the Peak really slowed down our opponent. So we'll just do this and load up this backup Arceus. So just in, I guess this could be a misplay if they find Starmie and like Melanie to it. Maybe should have just put 4 energies in play, or just had 1 energy off this. Okay, we could get punished. Yeah, probably should have only put 1 or 2 on the Arceus instead of all 3. Hopefully this Judge really messed up my opponent then, because otherwise getting one shot by a Starmie would be hilarious and make a funny YouTube short, but looks like our opponent just conceded again, so we're not able to actually get any good games so far. Alright, so we'll try a third one. Let's see if we actually can get someone who's able to do anything after we play Path to the Peak. It's just such a huge winning condition for these Arceus decks. So just on turn 2, I play Judge, I play Path to the Peak, and a lot of decks just simply cannot deal with that, at least very consistently or very efficiently. So my opponents, like those Chin PAL decks, those Giratina decks, and the Charizard decks, which are literally everywhere right now, probably 3 of the weakest decks to early game Judge Path. So my hand, since I'm going first, I'm pretty happy with it because I'm playing an Ultra Ball out my top deck and Boss's Orders. If I have an Arceus, I'll drop an energy on it and pass. It's important that I do not play this switch on the first turn, because if I switch back into the Arceus, yes, I am susceptible to getting the switch Iono away if I do not play it, but I don't want to Starbirth for another switch. Oh, I don't even have to play Ultra Ball this turn. Pretty busted, actually. So we will just Nest Ball for an Arceus. We have the Giratina, the Serperior VSTAR, Choice Belts. There was no Raihan in there, so that will be something to keep our eyes on. Radiant Greninja could mean Lost Inbox, could mean Charizard, could mean Chin PAL, or even Gardevoir, so it doesn't really tell us a whole lot. But we have a very strong hand for next turn. We have Boss to potentially chase a evolving Pokemon on the bench. We have Bibarel, Charizard, Ultra Ball, and Switch, so we're really cooking. There's an Iridas, so probably another Chin PAL deck. I'm telling you, on Limitless tournaments, on ladder, Chin PAL is literally everywhere. I think it's probably the deck I face the most, even more than Charizard, which makes a lot of sense because Chin PAL with Pidgeot is one of the strongest new combos from this set. It just gets kind of repetitive after you face the same deck over and over again. So there's a Chin PAL hitting the board. Nest Ball is probably going to get them a Frigibax or Palkia, depending on what version they're playing. Looks like they're not playing the Pidgeot, which is kind of funny. Back-to-back Chin PAL games without a Pidgeot, and like that's all I've been facing on ladder and tournament the past couple days. So they do have a Switch, so this could mean it's another Palkia Chin PAL deck. There's a Conceal Cards, getting going a little bit for them, but there's no Frigibax or Palkia yet. There's an Ultra Ball, so we'll probably see whatever their energy acceleration is. Okay, Drapion and Heavy Ball makes me think that this is a Palkia build, because you don't really need the Drapion in a Excalibur build where your damage cap is pretty much limitless. So we'll just see the attachment on the Chin PAL. Okay, Starmie there. Maybe we just Gust and Punch and KO that Starmie this turn, because we have the boss. We know Belt is in there. We can do this. And yeah, there's no way we reach this Palkia, unfortunately. So yeah, I think what I want to do is I'll switch. I'll Boss's Orders up this Starmie. Then we'll barrel before we Starbirth, just so we have maximum information. Path to the Peak was certainly a card we were going to consider grabbing. I am sort of banking on Bibarel to bail me out if I play this way. I'll get a Nest Ball because I want to thin that card out. We'll get Nest Ball and we'll get Double Turbo. So we do not have a supporter for a future turn. I guess I could have got a supporter instead of... No, this is fine, because we've Ultra Ball for next turn to get Giratina VSTAR. Oh, I forgot Choice Belt! No! Yeah, I should have... Oh, no. I messed that up. We should have grabbed Choice Belt instead of Giratina. Yikes. Okay. Man. I messed it up. Yeah, definitely should not get Starmie if we're not going to knock it out. We'll just do this then. We can't drop all 5 because all 3, because otherwise we'll have 6 energies in play. We just have to have 5. Dang it, I messed that up so bad. Oh no. Well, it'll make this game more interesting because if we KO Starmie, oh, they have immediate bounce. So, do they have... Hopefully they don't have a lot going on after that, but I feel like if you have a dead hand, you're probably just not bumping the stadium at all. So they probably have something going on. And if your hand's dead, you just like hold the Ultra Ball next turn to find Bibarel. It's ladder, you never really know. So they do bump the stadium, they have concealed cards. Wouldn't it be better if you're going to play concealed cards to retreat and shivery, chill, and thin first? There's a lot of weird sequencing interactions with Chin PAL. So we are getting Iono, which is a gift from my opponent because we were definitely banking on Bibarel to help us out. Pretty solid hand. We got the Giratina, we can Ultra Ball and get maybe Skwovet on the board. We can drop Path to the Peak again. Oh man, too bad we're not playing a Hawlucha or an Alakazam. Well. This is why it's kind of fun to do this because this is annoying. I don't want to give them Giratina. I think Bibarel is correct here. That's why it's fun to do these like gameplay videos this way instead of voicing over the games afterwards, because you get to see my immediate reaction, and also I could just cut that part out if I really wanted to. But I think it's important to showcase the good and the bad when you do this, because like you're never gonna play perfectly 100% of the time. I'm never gonna try to tell you that I play perfectly every single time. And maybe from me making a mistake in this video, it helps you guys to play better in the future. So our opponents, they switch back to the Chin PAL, they shivery chill, but then they just pass. Okay, so now our Bibarel is stuck. I'll play an Ultra Ball. Serperior is not too relevant in this matchup. Skwovet could be a good grab. I think we'll take Skwovet. I don't really want to bench this other Giratina yet. I kind of have to be careful with the energies that I put in play. We'll drop Path to the Peak, and then we'll Iono. And if we can Lost Impact this turn, that'd be epic. Huh. So I can put the double turbo on the energy and active and just punch it with Arceus. Or I can sort of gamble with Skwovet and try to find... I'm already on 1 switching card. This is hard. Because I can't just... Because if I drop this grass energy here and just take the Skwovet risk, if my opponent doesn't... If I don't hit it, my opponent can just go Starmie Boss, KO Giratina, and we're feeling really bad. So I would put the double turbo on the active just so we have the pivot assured. Then we'll Nest Dash, and watch, we're going to hit everything off this. So we're going to Industrious and Scissors. No, this is a pretty poor hand. And then I think we'll just use Arceus and hit this for 180 damage. What kind of stinks is if we hit this for 180, we don't want to really follow up with Giratina right away. So I could have benched the Giratina before I played this Iono earlier, but then I can't attach any energies to it because the presence of the Starmie is really bad. Man, if we would just grab Belt turn 1, we'd be feeling a lot better. So there's a Palkia. They're already on 2 stadiums though, right? Or wait, only 1. Never mind. For some reason I thought that they had spent 2. The Cross Witchers up the Giratina. Do they have choice belts to take this knockout? That would be so bad for us. There's Water Energy. Even them just hitting it for 250 is pretty solid for them. Okay. Because I think if they do a hard retreat and try to keep this alive, but then like Radiant Greninja is really solid for them to be able to take Skwovet and Giratina out. So these Palkia Chin PAL decks don't typically play choice belt, do they? They might. I haven't played against this deck a whole lot. It's kind of a newer deck, I guess you could say. It really came around after NASC. So there's a Melanie. This path is sort of limiting them a little bit because they can't use the conceal cards and they can't Shivery Chill, or they can't Star Portal and go for some like Radiant Greninja play this turn. But they'll probably be looking to do that in the future if they just like hit with Starmie. Yeah, that's what they'll do. This Energy Spiral. But Bibarel really makes my hand disruption not do a whole lot. Okay. So I can Nest Ball. Get down this backup Giratina. We don't have any other switching cards in the deck, period. So I guess I could have last turn tried to play to the Jet Energy, but I forgot about that. So we put the double turbo on here. And then we'll Nest Dash. Maybe we could have just attached a basic energy and then tried to boss and KO Palkia. Of course, we had the Jet Energy. Jet would have been a nice card. So it's Industrious. We missed boss anyway. So now we'll hard retreat off that double turbo energy. And then we'll go here. I'll just go ahead and thin the Nest Ball. Yeah, we don't really want to bench any other guys this game. And then now I feel a lot better about just flooding my board with energies now that this Starmie is hopefully gone for forever. I'll just put them all on this other Giratina. Well, no, we'll do this just so we have, because we don't have the V-Star yet, and this one can get knocked out by Subspace Swell. I guess both of them can. I probably should have put them on the Giratina V. There's our other switching card that we were looking for. Honestly, I don't think Lost Vacuum is that great of a card. It does give you a way to bump your own path to the peak if you want to still be able to Starbirth. It can remove some annoying tool cards, maybe mess with your opponent's math. Sometimes if they're relying on Choice Belt, you can get rid of things like Revenge Punch or Spirit Mask that make your life difficult. But overall, I think this probably could be a better card. I literally just copied that winning list from the tournament. And I think it's really good. This is honestly a really good, at least for a starting point. But if you want to just pick up this list how it is and take it to league, even play it on the ladder in a limitless tournament, I think you'll have a pretty good success rate just because the floor of a Judge / Iono path deck is so high because it's just so strong against the current metagame. Like, there's really, aside from Arceus, an Arceus Bibarel deck, there's not really a deck that's like, okay, Judge path, so what? Like, even Mew can be fragile against it in the early game, and the, I guess, current big three right now, because like Charizard is really scaring away the Psychic decks, and I think once sort of the dust settles, and Charizard is not like, Charizard is good, but it's not BDF like it's being played at the usage rate it's being played at right now. It is a good deck, don't get me wrong, but I think that people are just like maybe overreacting and not playing it, or not playing the Psychic decks right now, and like Gardevoir and Mew are still very good picks. Like, Gardevoir honestly does not have that bad of a what's it called? Of a Charizard matchup. There we go. I'm trying to get there. So I'm going to patch the peak. I'm going to, and I'm just going to play Judge. I'll put another energy down just so my Arceus is closer to being able to, well, I probably should just, okay, yeah, we'll do it this way. Because now I can lost in one energy off of both. I'm fully expecting this Giratina to go down this turn. Alright, so I'm just going to Ultra Ball out Arceus and Grass and thin the deck out. I can just grab the other Bidoof just for maximum draw power next turn. Yeah, because if I can get to the boss to win the game next turn, that'd be epic. I'll hold the Jet Energy. Jet is a nice piece to have. There is that boss's orders. So we have everything that we need. We'll Lost Impact. I'll chuck a Grass Energy off the active, and then a Psychic Energy off the bench guy. Oh, come on. There we go. So the Palkia is going down, so even if they want to go for a Radiant Greninja play and knock out active plus Skwovet, they would still, we still have game in hand. They'll only be able to save 3 prizes, and we can just boss and KO that Chimpal that we hit earlier. So things are still looking fine, even though we misplayed. We have to be worried about an Iono. There is another Palkia V-Star. There's a Water Energy, so they will be able to pull off that Moonlight Shuriken play. If they don't have any sort of hand disruption, we will win. And usually this deck plays 1 to 2 Iono. Okay, they're going to try to boss his orders and trap me. So luckily we held on to the Jet Energy. So unless something weird happens, we should be able to win this game. Yeah, they can not sure again take 3, but they can't ever take 4 this turn. And then we have it all. So they will Bibarel. Well, I was pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with the way this deck ran today. I might have to. I'm probably gonna be considering this deck myself for any upcoming online tournaments because it's not terribly hard to play, and the power level is still incredibly high. And the floor, like Arceus decks have such insane comeback potential. Like whenever you have these 3 cards, Iono, Judge, and Path to the Peak, you pretty much have a chance in just about any matchup. So we'll just Jet Energy, and we have boss orders in hand to be able to win the game. So yeah, I'm very happy with the way that this deck ran today. And yeah, that's just going to be a 3-0 on the video. Let's go. So there you have it for Arceus Giratina. I was very happy with how the list ran today. If you want to play the deck yourself, it'll be linked below, as well as my Discord if you want to join to be able to interact with some other TCT players. I would love to have you there. But if you want to see the video of my favorite Arceus deck right now, I played Arceus Pidgeot Gyarados at a tournament lately, and it was absolutely broken. I got to 7-0 start. So if you want to see that video, it'll be right here on screen. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.